Welcome back to Raised by Giants, to another Schizospiracy, the Maga Burrito Hour number 5. It's that time of the month. Good to see everyone. Welcome everyone in the chat and any moderators and channel members out there. And to anyone that's listening to the replay, thanks for joining us. We are coming to you live on YouTube and X, and also on Juan's channel as well. A Clockwork Shining is now available on Tubi. Anywhere you can download the Tubi app, you can now watch my documentary, A Clockwork Shining, on Tubi. So even if you've seen it already, watch it again on Tubi. I have the link pinned to the top of the chat and in the description of this video. And also sign up to be a Writer Ranger channel member. I've been dropping lots of channel members exclusives, interviews, and shows. You know how people love those exclusives, baby. The girls are going crazy right now over these little plushy toy things, like the little plushy toy mystery box stuff. Okay, well, sign up to be a channel member. Get a whole lot of mystery, baby. And with that down, introducing our co-host of the Maga Burrito Hour, host of the One-on-One podcast, the one, the only Juan Ayala. Welcome, brother. How's it going?
Thank you for having me, dude. It's a pleasure to be here. Excited.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are in the midst, bro. We are in the midst of PSYOP season. Dude, do you really how quickly all this moved? Okay, so what I think kicked a lot of this off, which we talked about it on Forbidden Knowledge News the other day with Chris Matthew, beginning of the week last week. Like the Elon Musk stuff, like Elon made that tweet and said that Trump is a part of the Epstein files. There's this feud going on. And then immediately after, that whole thing was just kind of brushed under the rug. And then immediately after, riots in LA. Riots, let's get crazy. Let's get crazy in LA. Okay, immigration riots. And then they were like, okay, well, we're going to do this worldwide, not worldwide, but U.S. nationwide protest, the No Kings protest. And then freaking Israel hits Iran with missiles. And then Iran, it's just like one thing after another. And I think people have already forgotten about the Trump thing.
I mean, what, you think it's to cover up the whole thing? Like, is that what you're saying, that the reptilians would do something like that, bro? Is that what you're getting at?
This is the Maga Burrito Hour, bro. You can go wherever we want with it. Because
they've done it before, Israel has either or. Last year they did it, right? It was either Iran or Israel bombing, one or the other. Here, I'll look it up here.
Yeah, they shot missiles into Israel as like a warning, but supposedly the Iron Dome around Israel or whatever prevented all of the missiles from actually hitting. I think some kind of storage facility was like blown up, and like a couple of soldiers or whatever were killed.
Yeah, so April 2024, Iranian strikes on Israel. It's April 13th, 2024. So it's happened before now. Like, how you're saying the whole false flag thing is interesting, because that's one of the things I've always talked about, where we get dragged into some things. Imagine being in a country like this and having zero control over what your government is doing, right? Or what it's on the end of receiving. Because imagine you're just there, you're just a person trying to live your life, right? And you got these things flying into your city. Like, you can't control that. And I've always thought about, like, what if that was to ever happen here in the States, right? Like something crazy, which crazy things have happened here. We've had attacks and certain things like that, but like full blown, bombs being dropped everywhere, that'd be crazy. And that's something that it's easily, the government can do whatever they want. They can say, hey, so and so, they launched an attack against us and we're going to go after them. You can't stop that as a citizen. Like, what can you do in that situation? You just got to take whatever comes, right? So it's scary, the amount of power that these people in power in these positions hold, because they can send an entire nation into a war. And even if you don't want it as an individual, like right now, I know that Netanyahu was trying to say, like, Israel the size of New Jersey, and blah, blah, like trying to like cater to the Americans so they kind of join in and support what he's doing. But I don't know, Trump is kind of playing both sides, not really saying anything, and he's, like, kinda lukewarm, but there's a lot of people who want him to go over there and a lot of people that don't want him to go over there. I personally think that we should stay the fuck out of it because it has nothing to do with America. That's just me, you know?
Well, that's like the whole thing, right? Like everyone was predicting that these LA riots were going to expand to like a nationwide immigration riot scenario.
Just
And,
shitholes, no.
and I knew that that wasn't going to be the case. Yeah, they did some whatever protests or whatever, but it was nothing like what was going on in LA, right? And I was like, and I made the whole prediction on Twitter. I was like, listen, this isn't going to go the way that people think that it's going to go. And but I do believe that this is a perfect opportunity for another country to do something. And then what do you know? 2 days later, Israel attacks Iran and then Iran retaliates. Now I was thinking more something like along the lines of like what you were saying is that another country attacks the United States, like missiles like hit the United States because that's what Trump's talking about right now. He's like, hey, Iran, if you launch missiles at the United States, and you're going to have a power come down upon you like you've never seen, and but that seems like the likely scenario. But I think that things have to get a lot more crazy in the United States before that happens. We almost have to be on the brink of like a 100% civil war, and then another country will then capitalize upon the chaos in the United States and
Yeah.
then attack while we're kind of all at each other's throats. That's just the best scenario that I see happening, because you want to kind of wreck and destroy the United States from within, and then as we are weak, then you launch missiles or you attack one of the coasts. You hit the West Coast or you hit the East Coast. That's why that they want to set up things in like Colorado, right? Because Colorado is very inland. It's in the Midwest.
What
It's
thing?
gonna be, like the Illuminati, bro. The Illuminati wants to set up.
Oh, like the airport with the
Yeah, bro.
Lucifer? Yeah.
They want that Colorado to be the headquarters of like where everything goes down. I mean, Denver is already like CIA headquarters. So, and they want it to be inland so that, if there's ever like it's less likely that if a country attacks that they'll be able to get to Colorado. If everything's set up on the East Coast, then you have like, because if another country attacks, they're going to hit the coast, right? It's going to be West Coast, like California, Oregon, and then on the East Coast, Florida, um,
But to
Georgia,
think about
North
it,
Carolina, South Carolina.
and it doesn't even have to be like a full-blown attack, right? It can be how they like to call them sleeper cells. And it wasn't like our border wasn't open for the last 4 years, right? Right before Trump came into office, it wasn't wide open and anyone was just coming in. Easily anyone from some organization could have walked right in and set up operations, and they're just waiting for the how you're saying the right moment to strike, which I feel like the riots are really happening at places that were already shitholes anyways, right? Like if you look at all the cities, Los Angeles, where's another one? Name another one, dude. It's probably a shithole. What's another place where the riots are going on?
Well, that's the thing about the LA riots is that the Olympics is going to be there in like 2 years. I think the Olympics are going to be in LA in 2028. I believe that that's correct. So it makes sense because LA is a complete and utter shithole, bro. It is garbage. It is nasty. There's too many problems with it. The streets are polluted. There's homeless people everywhere. There's drug addicts everywhere. And the easiest way to have an excuse in order to clean up LA for the Olympics, because the Olympics is a really big deal. Okay, there's going to be like how many other countries participate in the Olympics? A lot. Like there's going to be a lot of people coming into LA for the Olympics. So the easiest way to have an excuse to clean up the streets, rebuild some buildings, get rid of the homeless thing, you'd have a good 3 years to do it in, and that's more than enough time to build some new buildings, clean up the streets, get everything in order.
Who's gonna do that for them though? They're kicking them out. You know what I'm saying? Like they're kicking out the people who would work on those buildings. Like right now, like I looked up, AI says that Orlando and cities in Central Florida protests are occurring, including in Mount Dora, Deltona, and Daytona Beach. I was just in Orlando today. No, there's nothing going on in Orlando right now. Okay, like I don't see it. Atlanta, Dallas, Louisville, Minneapolis, San Francisco, Spokane, Las Vegas, Portland, Philadelphia, San Antonio, Washington, D.C., Austin, Chicago, Seattle, New York, Los Angeles. Sure. San Antonio, Dallas, Philadelphia, Portland, Las Vegas, unrest are reported. But Florida, yeah. I was driving around today. I didn't see anything, bro. So I don't know. No King's Day protest breakout across Central Florida. This was 2 days ago. I didn't even hear about this.
That doesn't even make any sense. Like people were telling me about like Utah, that Utah was getting hit with no Kings protests as well, and I'm like, Utah is a red state, Florida is a red state. Like I don't understand what is going on. Frank, the show yesterday with Jerry, it wasn't taken down. Jerry and Brian didn't show up to the show, so we had to reschedule it. That was just a preview, so it hasn't been done yet. We're trying to reschedule it for next week. Sorry about that, guys.
You know, it's crazy. If you don't watch the news, nothing ever happens. Like nothing is ever happening.
That's what I was saying yesterday, dude. I was just talking to somebody about this. I was like, if we just didn't listen to any of this stuff, like what would be different?
Mm-hmm. Because like, what's the people that don't have any like the Amish, right? I'm sure you've seen the memes where it's like, oh, during 2020, the Amish didn't know what was going on, right? Because they don't have this controlled media, and it feels like that puts a person in a worse state of mind, especially having platforms like X and even maybe Facebook. A lot of these platforms, they just push right what the algorithm, what a lot of people are putting out. So think about it. If it's doom and gloom for a lot of people and they're pushing it out, it's going to be doom and gloom for everybody else. So it puts you in that state of mind. And now I'm not saying don't face the realities of things, but of reality, right? Like it doesn't counter that part of it, but it's like you can't put yourself in a dark state of mind if all you do is follow Facebook and get your news from these social media sites. Like we were talking about like our parents and the boomers that believe like any AI generated picture or video, especially nowadays, that they find on the internet, like, oh, look at this. My dad being one of them, like, check out all these people chained up, being loaded up on planes. I'm like, Dad, that dude has 7 fingers. What are you talking about? Like, that's clearly AI and bad AI at that. And you still fell for it. You get what I'm saying? Like, now multiply that across millions of people. How many people are falling for shit like that? And how many people will continue to fall for things like that the more and more it advances? Because that's the scary part.
I made a really good short. I'm going to be posting it today on Instagram, and I'll tag you in it, but I already posted it on YouTube because I'm behind schedule. I like to post them on YouTube and then all the social medias later. But this is from our chat. This is crazy. This is from our chat with Chris Matthew the other day. Listen to this.
This is Dana Brooks reporting live from Ocean View Beach. Just kidding. I'm not real.
That's a freaking UFO in the back, but it looks real, bro.
Bro.
Insanity.
It's difficult to tell how much of what we're seeing on the television, social media, through these news outlets is theater.
Angela Carter here, live from the Cedar Grove flood disaster. Just kidding. I'm not real.
Bro, Ryder, are you real, dude? Like, I don't even know if you're real anymore.
Well, I mean, that's the whole thing is like, how many AI, like weird influencer people are there? I mean, I'm pretty sure that I read that there's an OnlyFans account where it's like someone's making like thousands of dollars, and like all the images and like the videos are all AI generated. Like the person isn't even a real person.
Well, there's entire YouTube channels that are AI, bro. And they have like a lot of them have, large followings, 100,000 subscribers plus. And they're putting out like fake the ones that I've seen is like fake Diddy trial stories of like Johnny Depp testified today in court, and it's got like a an AI generated thumbnail with Johnny Depp like crying or something like that. And I don't know if it's people eat this up, or again it goes back to the concept of people want the end times to come so bad. They have like a hard on for this sort of thing, right? People enjoy it. I don't know what it is about it that like draws people in, and that's the sad part that people do fall for it, right? And as long as people keep engaging with this sort of thing, they're going to continue to put it out, and it's going to continue to be a thing, and it's only going to get worse from here because of Microsoft's new thing. Once they're able to extend it past however long, like at first it's like 8 seconds or something like that. Because I was even talking to Paranoid American about this. I go, dude, we could produce a movie with this new software. Like we could do a movie, and apparently there are uh, producers that are using this technology within their productions of the movies. Right now, you can't tell. Like for example, you sent me one that they're using this technology in. I forgot the name of the movie, but it showed like the inside of the fetus, like inside, of the mother's womb. They show like the fetus. Obviously, they can't get a camera in there, so it was all AI generated, but it looks so real, right? And as you can see, it's going to get realer and realer and realer the more the technology advances. Now, what's the end game? I don't know, but as long as you don't interact with the news and all that stuff, I think you'd be all right. That's what I do. I don't interact with any of it.
Yeah, Netflix kind of caught some heat with the Gabby Petito documentary,
Yes.
where they made the AI generated voice of her
Yeah.
reading her diary.
Yeah, that's kind of messed up.
That's just the ones that we know of, though, dude. Like what I was mentioning before, like how long have they been using this technology? Like they could have just easily have done the Gabby Petito thing and then not said anything,
Yeah.
and not have been like, "Oh, this is AI voice generated stuff." So I mean, what's the efficacy there? Like, do you have to have like a banner that says that this is like all AI generated? What about the people that don't have ethics and morals, and would just try and pass stuff off as real footage? I mean, you had Donut. Did you see his Godzilla riot AI videos that he posted on social media?
No.
Yeah, it was like Godzilla just wrecking LA. And I was like, wow, like it looks like a found footage movie.
Yeah.
Sort of like that movie Cloverfield. Did you
Yes.
see the movie Cloverfield? It was sort of like that, but it was just Godzilla just going through and wrecking the entire city, and picking up, chunks of concrete and throwing it and destroying buildings and stuff. And I was like, wow, if it gets to, like, you can make a found footage movie like that very easily. Like that would probably be the easiest one to do, is like a Cloverfield style. What's that? What was the other really popular Blair Witch Project, Paranormal?
That was like the first one, yeah, that ever did that.
Yeah, like you could make one of those very easily, and that's the thing, is they're trying to cut out human beings from the process, right? So someone can, and then that brings into the whole question music, too, right? Like how much of the music industry for the past 20 years, because music has taken a sharp nosedive down in like quality, not only the way that the music is, but the lyrics and the people that were propping up, like it's garbage. It's like just straight garbage. All of it's garbage. Well, not all of it. There are some really good.
Wait, so Lil Wayne's latest album is garbage, bro? Is that what you're saying?
I haven't listened to it, but I've heard nothing but bad things about it. People
It's
don't like it.
horrible. It's horrible, dude. He's fried. He needs to just call it quits. Like, 10 years ago, that was hot. Like, we would have been, and we were like, yo, that's fire. That line is fire. Now we listen back to like, dude, is this guy autistic? Like, what is he saying? That's how it is. But Netflix has actually caught slack before for another documentary I'd seen where they were using AI generated images. I don't think they didn't say anything. They didn't say anything about those, and people ended up finding them out obviously because of the fingers. This was when AI was just coming out like big, and now it's gotten a lot better. So it's not the first time, and I'm sure it's not going to be the last time. I did start watching the Titan submersible implosion documentary. I haven't finished it yet, but I'll keep an eye out for some AI generated stuff in there. But I did start that I think last night or something, and haven't finished it yet. But I'm sure it's not going to be the first time that they use it. It's a quick, easy fix if they need something else to fill in some space, right? So I can see it being a tool, but I don't know. Maybe have a disclosure or a disclaimer, not a disclosure, a disclaimer on there saying like, hey, we're using it because I don't know. To be honest, I don't really care all that much, but it
Well, I
does
mean,
seem kind of scummy when they did it with the Gabby Petito thing.
it gets into this weird blurring of the lines of reality. And, this used to be like special effects and CGI, and only a few people had access to, you'd have to be a special effects artist, or like people that have been faking UFO photos for freaking decades now with Photoshop, which we're going to get into here in in a few minutes because New York Post article just came out that basically has been saying what I've been saying about the UFO phenomenon for years now. But they're trying to blur the lines between reality and fiction. And I've seen a lot of this like 5 or 10 years ago where people would be, doing something like really dangerous. You know what I mean? Like hanging from like a side of a building or whatever. You know what I mean? Like those parkour people, they would be like, hanging from a side of a building, but they've really just been cropped out of the photo and then cut and pasted into a video to make it seem like that they're doing something way more dangerous. I seen how this was done on like literally on a sidewalk. They had like a sidewalk that a girl was walking on the left side of a railing, and then there was just this giant freaking ravine beside of her. Like it looked like she was like going to fall off of the sidewalk onto the railing into this giant ravine. But then they showed the real video of it, and she was just grass was just right beside of her. She was just walking alongside of a railing. So it's like, how long have they been doing this type of technology? I mean, that's the real question, and that's the real danger in it. I mean, in my documentary, A Clockwork Shining, if you watched it, we did an AI recreation of the end scene of Stanley Kubrick's original ending to The Shining. And underneath it, I made sure to put the disclaimer that this is AI generated video. Because I want to be honest with people. So it's like, what happens when people decide not to do that anymore? And when they decide, oh, well, I'm not going to let people know that this is AI because it's gotten so close to what we would expect things to actually happen, and it be so close to reality that it's indistinguishable, that we can't even tell the difference.
Speaking of CGI effects, did you ever look into that case I sent you with the Malaysia airline flight? Did you ever actually look into it?
The Ashton Forbes one?
Yeah. The MH370?
Yeah, I read through a bunch of his posts. I don't know what to think about it. There's some people that he's convinced, and then there's other people that is like, this is just nonsense. And it's kind of like what I was talking about before is like, well, if they were to release something real, like some kind of real video or real photo of something that of some kind of craft or something extravagant actually happening, and it was 100% real, people still wouldn't believe it. So I really don't know what to think about it. There's a lot of interesting points that he brings up, like the pit of the not the cockpit. Well, yeah, the cockpit of the plane essentially being on fire, which is a big part of the reason why it supposedly also went down. And you can see the what she's using as proof that the video is real, because you can see the clear images, like the infrared images of like the heat inside of the plane. I don't know. I don't know what to think. Joe Rogan thinks it is bogus. He was going to bring him on, and then he backed out because he said that the footage was fake. I don't know. It's a weird one. It's a strange one. I don't really have too much of an opinion on it.
Yeah, because again, I know we're gonna be getting into the government implanting, what was it, false information and false narratives. Well, my whole thing is why. And when it comes to, for example, the the MH370 stuff that shows UFOs and all these things, why hide the whole UFO thing, and why make it why shroud in so much mystery and stuff? It's either they're real or they're not real. And if they are real, are they government tech? You know what I'm saying? Like, why so much bullshit around it, bro? Like, I know you've talked about the guy that they were feeding information through his computer and all. That's a crazy story. The one of the original, what's his name,
Paul Benowitz.
Benowitz, where they drove him like insane, didn't they?
Yeah, they basically hospitalized him from feeding him mis and disinformation directly from the Air Force and the NSA, which broke into his house and replaced his computer with an NSA modified computer to make him believe that he was in communication with aliens.
Why that guy? You get what I'm saying? Like, why him, and why go through all of that?
Well,
unless he was an operation, like they were testing something out on him.
Well, see, the whole thing is nobody's saying that UFOs aren't real. I've never said that UFOs aren't real. And that's where people are misunderstanding what I'm saying. I never said that UFOs aren't real. They are definitely real. They're just not aliens. They're not aliens. They're not extraterrestrials. So that's an important thing to clarify, because whenever I talk about this subject, people jump on me and they're like, "Oh,
why are you gay?"
That's why are you gay? That guy, I love that guy. So that's an important thing to get out, is that it's not that UFOs aren't real. They're just not extraterrestrials. And the reason, in my personal belief, and I did a whole show on this New York Post
Can you pull it up?
Yeah.
Pull it up, Jamie. Go ahead and pull it up.
Oh, I'm pulling it up. Oh, what happened? I just refresh it.
It's the reptilians, dude. They're at it again. The reptilian Mossad at it again. Trying to
Oh, now I got the pinwheel, dude.
Oh, bro, here, let me pull it up. You said New York Times, right?
Yeah, I'm completely pinwheeled though. There's nothing that I can do.
When did it come out? I'm not getting anything.
Oh no, it's frozen.
Dude. What's the name of the article? I'll pull it up.
Well, I can't do anything. I can't move off of my screen. I'm pinwheeled. It's name of the article. I might be able to pull it up here.
Pentagon secretly planted Area 51 UFO conspiracy theory. That one, to hide classified weapons program, June 8th, 2025.
Yes.
All right. This is from New York Post. Damn, dude, they're trying to suppress you, brother. They're trying to suppress the truth from going on, dude.
Yeah, they just pinwheeled me. Yep, this is it.
All right, so Pentagon secretly planted Area 51 UFO conspiracy theory to hide classified weapons program, which, I can get behind that, where it's like they're trying to hide some classified program. Okay, I get that. Some of the most prevalent UFO conspiracy theories, including about aliens being housed at Area 51 in Nevada, were fueled by the Pentagon in an attempt to provide cover for secret weapons programs, according to a bombshell report. Listen, I think you need to do the opposite. Why are you you're drawing more attention than there needs to be there? So does that mean Bob Lazar's story was bullshit, bro?
Well, that's the whole thing, is that I think so. I think that he might have been shown something that looks, extraterrestrial, and then he goes out and says that it's all extraterrestrial, and then it just when it's some like sort of man-made tech. I mean, how many archaeological digs have we done over the past freaking 80 years? Okay, who's to say that we didn't dig up a lot of this stuff? They have some kind of advanced technology from a much older, more advanced civilization. And we don't know how it works. But I think that Balbazar was definitely, he might have been shown something and then he just went off and like ran with it. It's exactly like Richard Doty, bro. That's what he was doing. That was his entire job for AFOSI, Air Force Office of Special Investigations. He went to people in the community and gave them fake documents, fake government documents about UFOs. And in this article, in the video that I showed on my channel the other day, on last Thursday, it's an interview with Mick West and the guy that was the head of that was investigating all this stuff, the special organization that the government opened up after the first congressional UFO hearing with Dave Grush to investigate all of these claims. Okay, he disclosed that they were giving a hazing ritual to new recruits into the military. Okay, and in this hazing ritual involved showing them a bunch of fake UFO photos along with fake documents.
Wait, hold on, dude.
About
Wait.
UFOs and aliens.
A hazing ritual that involved showing them fake UFO.
Yeah, like an initiation, right, into the military. Okay, so like if as a joke, but it obviously wasn't a joke. People believed it. Okay, that's the whole thing. So whenever you were coming to the military, and this isn't me saying this. This is the director of Aero saying this. Okay, and he said that whenever they brought people into the military, they would give them these fake UFO documents along with fake UFO photos, and they called it a hazing ritual. But the thing about it is, they didn't tell them that it was fake. Okay, so they seen this, and a majority of them probably believe that it was real, and that has been the thing that and they stopped doing that, I think, in like 2024. So they've been doing that for freaking decades. They've been showing new recruits into the military these fake documents and these fake alien photos and fake UFO photos and fake documents about aliens. Okay, and then they believe it. And then they go on their whole career believing that that was true. And that's almost identical to what they did to Richard Doty as well. He was responsible for, spreading all of this mis and disinformation about aliens to cover up governmental experimental technology, experimental aircraft. And then they did the same thing to him. They took him into a classified briefing, right? And then they showed
on the moon
inside of the moon with the Arcturians and the Lyrans, and showed him all of these UFO photos. And then he got convinced that everything that he was spreading disinformation about, which I don't believe that he thinks that, I don't believe that he's actually convinced. I believe that's another part of his operation, right? You do this for a long time, you spread all this mis and disinformation about UFOs, and then you completely reverse it. Then you flip the script. Then you say all the stuff that you were spreading mis and disinformation about is actually real because the government showed you real photos of it. And that's what he claims. But that's what they did to him as well. They took him inside of this room and was like, here's all these photos. This is the real truth about the aliens and the extraterrestrials.
So it says here, a review by the Department of Defense found that in the 1980s, an Air Force colonel visited a Nevada bar near Area 51 and gave the owner fabricated photos of flying saucers near the secret government base, according to a review of the 2024 report by the Wall Street Journal. Again, this is 2024. So as far back as the 1980s, and it's just making me think of, Roswell in 1947, where allegedly this was a crash site of some sort of extraterrestrial vehicle or whatever it is. What if the truth about that was much darker? And the reason I say that is because I remember Jacques Vallée went on Rogan recently, a few months ago, and he brought up one thing that stood out to me. I couldn't find anything else on it. I couldn't find it in his books. I couldn't find anything on the internet about it. But he was saying that the Soviets or the Russians, whoever it was at the time, were they had a program to genetically modify people in order to fit them of smaller stature, right? So that they were creating miniature men because they were lightweight to pilot their planes, right? But if we take it even a step further, let's say that they weren't actually doing that. What if they put, for example, children in some sort of vehicle and they crash it out in the desert somewhere? Oh no, it was actually extraterrestrials. It wasn't, kids. It was extraterrestrials piloting a freaking aircraft or whatever it is, right? You could see where they could switch that and manipulate it. If it goes back as far as the 1980s, bro, you can't trust anything these people have said up until this point about anything. I mean, where how far back does it go? You get what I'm saying? Like, this is crazy.
And I would believe that because Stalin and Hitler, they were doing all kinds of stuff, bro. They were trying to do all kinds of
Allegedly.
genetic stuff. They were trying to freaking capture a Yeti, apparently, and then try and reverse engineer a freaking Yeti for like soldiers and like combine DNA of like
Yeah,
gorillas and monkeys to make like weird freaking human hybrid things,
allegedly.
allegedly.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Well, it
Stalin,
wouldn't,
the super soldiers program.
yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if something like that did, or it could have been like monkeys. Like they could have thrown monkeys in the freaking craft.
Which NASA has done that, right? They've sent animals up into space. I mean, they've admitted that. Dogs, cats, monkeys. But it just, again, it makes you think of if this goes back that far. And the messed up part about the whole Stalin thing was that there was a guy who allegedly like impregnated women against their will with ape DNA. Like, that's how sick these guys were. That they were uh putting this stuff into people and they didn't even know about it. Like, that's how far they went. So if that's how far they went back then, dude, how far will they go today? Right? So everything, I mean, and I'm not one of these kind of guys like all of history is fake and gay. I'm not that kind of guy, but when you look at things like this, it makes you really wonder how much of history is fake and gay. Because a portion of it absolutely is. You get what I'm saying? Not to throw out the whole thing, because you do still need a point of reference when it comes to history. And you got people who don't believe anything at all. It's like, then where are you supposed to start? Oh, they added 1,000 years to our timeline, dude. We're actually in the year 514. It's like, what? Come on, dude. I don't think it's that bad, but it's pretty bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's I'm sure a large portion of it has been fabricated. How much? I can't tell you how much.
Well, you don't believe in the 100-year, 1,000-year timeline, bro? Come on now. Don't you know our calendar is all screwed up, dude? And August is really the.
I don't believe our calendar is messed up. I do think that 12 months is the actual time frame. The reason being because we have seasons and we can tell the difference between one part of the year versus the other part of the year. You can't lie about that. Like, things, and hey, maybe that's why they're doing weather manipulation, right? To throw everybody off, because it's actually, it's not June, it's actually April or whatever it is. But you know when the grass is growing quicker, when it's raining more versus when it's cold, like that, you can't change that. That's Mother Nature. So that we have a almost like a biological or natural clock, if you will, in nature that's already been put there. You get what I'm saying?
But what about the places that don't have seasons?
Dude, you got me, dude. You got me. You make a good point. I'm just speaking from somebody who lives in Florida, right? We have like summer 10 months out of the year, 2 months of cold, and then, rinse and repeat. But yeah, you're absolutely right. What happens to the places that are cold all the time? That are, I mean, yeah, cold would be the only thing, really. and then everywhere in between. But yeah, you make a good point.
I think that they did do something to the calendar. I don't think that January is supposed to be the first of the year. Now, they could have. It doesn't mean that they're the wrong months. It's just I think that whenever we celebrate the turning of a new year is in the wrong spot that it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
I think that's what the deal is.
So here, the incident renewed local fervor over UFOs, with the now retired colonel confessing to Pentagon investigators that he was on an official mission to spread disinformation and hide the true purpose of the site, where the government was testing the first ever stealth warplane, the F-17 Nighthawk. And again, I remember as a kid, probably in the second grade, dude, reading about Area 51 and believing that they were. I fell for it. I fell for the disinformation campaign because I believed as a kid that there were aliens there. And I remember the History Channel putting shit out, right? So it makes you think, how many of these news networks and these channels, Discovery Channel, all these other places that put out this like Ancient Aliens, that's 100% probably a CIA Fed run show. How many seasons does Ancient Aliens have? Whoops.
A lot of seasons. But the thing about Area 51 is that I don't believe that
21.
that the government even admitted that Area 51 existed until like Obama.
What?
I'm pretty sure that they denied that Area 51 existed for a really long time. I'm pretty sure that Obama was the one that finally admitted that Area 51 even existed. They denied it for a really long time. They're like, there isn't any top secret military base.
So according to AI, right, the government officially acknowledged the existence of Area 51 in 2013.
There you go.
That's a lot of time.
Yeah.
This occurred due to the declassification of documents related to the U-2 spy plane program, which had been tested and operated at the facility. Specifically, the CIA released documents on June 25th, 2013 in response to a Freedom of Information Act request. These documents detailed the history of the U-2 and Oxcart programs, including their development and testing at Area 51. So you're right. Yeah, it wasn't. So for a long time, it wasn't even known, but people knew. I mean, bro, I'm telling you, I've known about Area. I don't know about you. I've known about Area 51 all my life, way before 2013.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing, is that they constantly denied it. Whenever they were officially asked a question about Area 51, they would always like use plausible deniability and say that they weren't aware, or they said that it didn't exist. And that kind of came as a shock to me, is that, yeah, because I had heard about it for a really long time before that as well, but it was never admitted by the government. And I'm pretty sure that AI thing is accurate. I don't know if it was 2013 or if it was before that, but it was around the mid 2000s. What's going on, Paul, brother? Black Sheep Researcher, dude. Check your Facebook messages, bro. I've been trying to get a hold of you, dude. Good to see you, brother. Oh, and
There
for
was
anybody,
even, go ahead.
Huh?
There was even a movie. I don't know if you saw it. One of the new Venom movies, that it showed Area 51 and that they were decommissioning it, and then they'd go underground and they had a whole new base underground. You see that Venom movie?
the new one,
One of the new ones. Here, let's see. It's called The Last Dance. Area 51 is a key location where the symbiotes and xenophags clash, resulting in an all-out symbiote war. The movie features Venom escaping the confinement and fighting in Area 51, which is depicted as a site of intense conflict. Blah, blah, blah. So anyways, they start right here. It went from like Area 51 to like Area 55 or something. And this was back in, when did this movie come out? This movie came out in 2024.
Yeah, last year. Yeah.
So this movie starts out in, where they're decommissioning Area 51, and then they go underground, and you know that they're not actually decommissioning it. They're just moving operations because it's gotten too hot. But in my opinion, if the government was to come out with something like this, it draws more attention. But again, hidden in plain sight, where you can keep your secrets and mislead the public. But then that would lead to, I know a couple of people. You remember when they were going to storm Area 51? You remember that movement?
Yes. Yes.
I
Storm the
remember
gates.
I knew a few people who actually showed up to that. Now they didn't actually Naruto run to Area 51, right? How they were all wanting to do, but people did show up. Now, what happens if enough people show up where they can't stop all of us, dude? You know what I'm saying? Then what?
Yeah, and I think the guy that organized that kind of got scared and backed out, and he moved the whole thing to like Vegas or something.
Yeah, because he saw that it was like kind of sort of going viral. And I knew of at least 2 people that I knew personally who showed up to that thing. And they like, they just hung out outside and stuff like that and talked to people. They didn't actually do anything, but point being that people did actually show up. And what happens if you get enough people behind it to actually storm? Should we bring that back, dude?
I think we should, bro.
Should we storm Area 51 to find the homunculus that they got hidden in Area 51?
They got the homunculus down there. They got the alien crafts. They got the reptilians. They got the Greys and the hyperbolic time chamber from Dragon Ball Z.
And this was one of these movies, right? Speaking of CGI, that was absolutely horrible. Like this entire movie was CGI, and it just looks bad. Like it doesn't even look good as far as like the movie goes. The plot line, but even then, like, so check out this, the Last Dance review, a CGI mess Tom Hardy can't save. It was bad, dude. And I remember texting one of my friends like, have you seen these movies? And he's like, yeah. I was like, they look horrible, dude. They just look atrocious.
I watched the first one. I liked the first one. I didn't watch the second one, and I didn't watch the third one. People really didn't like the third one. They thought it was garbage.
Yeah, I think this is look at this. I think it might be, which one is this one in line? This is the one of the latest ones that came out. Yeah, let's look it up. Venom movie order. Yeah, Venom. Yeah, The Last Dance is it's the third one. Yeah, it's pretty bad. I can confirm.
The third and final one. I mean, Sony has been just screwing up all of these live action movies. Madam Web was a huge bomb. Morbius was bad. The latest Venom movie sucked. Like they're just screwing them up. The only ones that they're good at is like the animated Spider-Man movies.
The
Spider-Verse. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So the military reasoned that the best way to keep its new technology hidden from the Soviet Union's prying eyes during the Cold War was to bury it amid the trove of conspiracy theories surrounding Area 51, investigators found. The incident is just one of several where government agencies allegedly played up America's UFO mythology for the purpose of protecting its military assets, according to the 2024 report. Other military attempts to obscure secret projects with conspiracy theories were not made public. Huh. And wasn't, right, when was the first time conspiracy theorist was introduced? Wasn't it for JFK?
Yes, by the CIA.
By the CIA, right? They coined the term, I guess. Sean Kirkpatrick, the first director of the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, was the man tasked by the government to dissect countless UFO theories in 2022. As his office probed decades of documents, memos, and messages across the Defense Department, he found several conspiracy theories that circled back to the Pentagon itself. In one instance,
they're the ones that are responsible, bro. They're the ones that started the mythology.
So, oh man, because that's the thing, right? So, where are people right now that aliens are real and the government is trying to hide them, or that aliens are fake and gay and the government is trying to prove that they're real? Where are we at right now on the UFO spectrum?
Well, I've been on that. You know, it doesn't take a lot of research to come to this conclusion. I mean, Arrow and Sean Kirkpatrick did it in a couple of years because they were writing out an entire report. This took me like a couple of days.
2 nights.
To come to this exact same conclusion. I was like, it's pretty simple once you just go back and you look through all the cases and you realize where all this stuff is coming from. It all comes from the government itself, from the Air Force, from the NSA. They're the ones that have been constantly creating the mythology around UFOs, extraterrestrials, and aliens. And then that is snowballed into the point where we have people in Congress testifying under oath these exact same stories that the government has created that are fake and that are false.
So they're like what? Agent provocateurs or something? Or like, what are they?
I don't think that they know. I don't think that they know.
Oh, they're just retarded?
Yes. A few of them, at least. I mean, I'm sure some of them know. I mean, I'm sure George Knapp's kind of got to know by now. You know, some of these people definitely have to know. But I think that others are just unwittingly going along with it.
Yeah. Perhaps the grift, like that's an actual grifter to like milk it for what it is because they know people are interested in it, or what?
And I think some people are just, they're convinced that it's real through circular reporting. The people that are responsible for this this garbage and fake made up stories from the very beginning are the same ones that are constantly repeating it over and over and over again. You know, and really all that you got to do, all that you have to watch, and you'll understand this entire phenomenon, is you just got to watch the documentary Mirage Men. It was free on YouTube. I don't know if it's still free or not, but just watch the documentary Mirage Men and you'll understand exactly what's going on here.
This one?
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna check it out.
Tells you everything that you need to know about the entire phenomenon. And it's all in what they're talking about in this article is basically what is talked about in that documentary, word for word. I've done so like all around Paul Benowitz, how that he was getting all that mis and disinformation directly from the government. And then Paul Benowitz went out and gave that information to other researchers. Those researchers took that information that they thought was real coming from Paul when it was really fake information coming from the government, and then switched it up and turned it into different things that that was one of the things that Paul thought that the aliens that was communicating with him through his computer was telling him that the aliens made a contract with the government. Okay. And then he goes and talks to Bill Cooper, tells Bill Cooper all this stuff. And then Bill Cooper turns it into a contract that Eisenhower signed with the gray aliens when it was complete and utter fiction from the very beginning. And all kinds of other things too, like that the aliens are here for our resources, that they're here for us, that they're here to modify our DNA to create alien human hybrids, that they have this base in New Mexico where they're doing these experimentations at. And so it all like, and then in 1980 as well, no one gave a crap about the Roswell story. It wasn't until William Moore wrote the book on the Roswell story called The Roswell Incident in 1980 that blew up the Roswell story. No one cared about it before then.
To like bring it back to light. So, and I'm thinking about Operation High Jump, which was one of the big ones too that people always talk about. Like, oh, they went into the Hollow Earth to fight Nazi aliens and blah blah blah. The Nazis had, maybe that's code for something, that the Nazis had this UFO technology. It's code for that they had some sort of other, you know, government technology. And the way that they code it is by calling it alien. You get what I'm saying? Like back again to this sort of thinking to disguise a lot of this stuff with this alien extraterrestrial narrative that has been around for quite some time now. But it kind of, the thing about all this is that it plays into a lot of mythologies as well. So I think it's hard coded in people's DNAs to accept a little bit of the woo woo I mean, think about it. Any biblical story is supernatural and paranormal, whatever you want to call it. And this goes back to ancient mythology of right the Mahabharata, the Bhagavad Gita, like all these stories about these ancient races and these ancient wars that they were having. And a lot of people depict that as they were using UFOs. So it's encoded in people's DNA in a sort of way to accept this. Even in the Bible, right? The Nephilim and all that shit.
Yeah,
Like
it's all
people
coded. It's all word magic. They're playing word magic with this stuff. And I'm going to tell you what the deal is with Antarctica. Okay, the deal with Antarctica is that whenever Byrd went over there with his naval fleet, they found that in the center of Antarctica, there's a lush forest.
Mhm.
It's green for miles and miles and miles.
Wait, you believe that or you think or is that what they were pushing?
That's the truth. It's in this Reader's Digest of Antarctica that I have right here in an official book of Operation High Jump.
That's some flat earther shit though, bro.
That's what they found. They found out that in the center of Antarctica, there's a luscious green forest there for miles. I forget what they said, like 86 square miles or something like that.
Mhm.
It's just nothing but lush green forest.
And they were trying to cover that up?
Well, I think that they were trying to do experiments and like figure out like how this lush green forest can be growing in the middle of a continent that's just completely frozen.
Yeah, cuz the whole Admiral Byrd case and that whole saga is surrounded with some questions that need to be answered, like the guy that jumped out the window. I forgot his name. There are some people that were close to him that were involved in that met weird and even he what did he pass away from? Admiral Byrd. Was he taken out? Because his whole diary was published after he had passed away. So he died. How did he die? Let's see here. Death. So his death died in his sleep of a heart ailment at the age of 68 on March 11th, 1957 at his home at 7 Brim, Beacon Hill in Boston. Sleep of in his sleep. Okay. Whatever. Sure.
Okay, here's the Reader's Digest. I'm just gonna read it out to you really quick. Here's the Reader's Digest on Antarctica. And in this page right here, page 267, might be difficult for me to read because there's very low light in here.
I know you can't read. It's okay. Take your time.
On the 11th of February, a flight from the Western Group made what became the most widely publicized discovery of Operation High Jump, a snow-free oasis in the Burger Hills. The barren patch of snow-free rock dotted with lakes cover an area of 260 square kilometers, around 100 square miles. That is a lot of land. Some of the lakes were large enough for landing, and a few days later, a party visited the area to make a preliminary examination, and the discovery caused a minor international sensation after a Navy press release spoke of the area and reports that vegetation had been found. So there's a forest in the center of Antarctica that's 100 square miles. That's green forest. There's lakes. Okay, wouldn't you want to try and keep that quiet? I was really surprised whenever I read this in here. I found this at a thrift store. I just went through it really quickly to see if there was anything interesting in the Operation High Jump story, and that stood out to me.
So I looked it up. The Bunger Hills, it's actually on this end. And they quote Admiral Byrd in here. The leader of Operation High Jump, Admiral Richard E. Byrd, stated that the Bunger Hill was one of the most remarkable regions on Earth. An island suitable for life had been found in a universe of death. So, where we at? It would be over on this end over here somewhere. And that makes sense with the whole thing of, right, the fear has been put in an impregnable fortress, right? Because you'd be able to go somewhere like a place like this where you would think is just desolate, doesn't have any life in it, and you're able to survive in this crazy oasis.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And
And
that
that
would
would be,
like a break off civilization type thing.
and that would be a complete anomaly. A complete anomaly. Just in Antarctica, a completely frozen and snow-filled continent where grass is growing and there's lakes. Nothing's frozen. It's all lush and greenery. That would mean that it would have to be warm just in that section of Antarctica.
Well, it's on the ice wall, dude. That's why.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that
You
makes
see
sense.
right here, it's on the ice wall. It's at the tip of it right there.
That makes sense. A lot more sense.
Let me see if I can go to it. Can I go to it? Can I put this into I can't. Damn it.
Just copy
Anyways.
Bunger Hills. Put Bunger Hills into it.
No. All right, spelled it right. Bunger Hills. Yeah, bro. They don't want us to know about Bunger Hills.
They don't.
I mean, again, his diary was posted after he had passed away, further fueling this whole concept of, right, the CIA or the Pentagon putting out mis and disinformation, and they probably use this to also, right, because they even say it in here where there was more other military attempts to obscure secret projects with conspiracy theories were not made public. So think about that. And then right here, how you were saying earlier, one instance, Kirkpatrick's team found that the Air Force hazed members with briefings introducing them to a fake Yankee Blue unit that purported investigated alien aircraft.
Yeah.
The briefings came with a direct order never to mention the details to anyone, with many of the targets of the prank never learning it was all a ruse, according to interviews with Kirkpatrick's team. The bizarre practice was... Look at this. The bizarre practice was still taking place during the investigation, with the Pentagon eventually sending an order across the DoD in 2023 to finally put an end to it. In 2023, it remains unclear why officials presented subordinates with fake briefings, with rumors speculating could have been used as a loyalty test or to spread misinformation. Yikes.
Yep.
Left people in the dark when they witnessed secret military projects. That would fall in line with Bob Lazar, right? Leaving people in the dark when they witness secret military projects. This guy stumbles across it. Nobody says anything to him about it. He's on fucking Rogan talking about seeing some alien entities or whatever, like little people on a stretcher or on a table or something, right?
Saying nothing about something sometimes is
saying a lot. Yeah.
Yes. Because then you can just let people run with their own theories of what they think.
Yeah, Salas claims he witnessed a UFO descent over a nuclear missile testing site in Montana in 1967. So it goes back at least 1967. This guy, right? Again, UFOs have been around. Are they alien or not? That's the reason we're here. This kind of looks alien, right? If you really see this at night. If you've never seen this before, bro, think about it. And you saw it one night, you're like, damn, that's an alien spaceship.
Yep.
You know, and these things take off like off the ground sometimes, right? Like vertically like that.
Yeah, there's one that the military has that looks exactly like a freaking UFO, dude.
This guy Salas says during the event, a flashing light was able to disable all 10 nuclear missiles at the bunker, along with all the electrical systems. He was ordered to never discuss what he saw, with Salas maintaining that he witnessed alien visitors chiming in on the Cold War. Kirkpatrick's team, however, discovered that Salas was never told that what he actually saw was a test of a fledgling electromagnetic pulse test to see if American silos could withstand the radiation of atomic weapons and retaliate if the Soviet Union ever attacked first. Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, I think it's the B-21 that looks identical to a UFO.
Interesting, bro. I don't know. It just makes me question how much of history has been tainted by these people and how much more will continue to be tainted. But I think people are waking up as far as believing all the bullshit that's being fed to them by these governmental entities. And you think we'll ever figure out the truth, bro? You think they'll come out and say the actual truth
I think that they just did.
with this whole bombshell?
Yeah. This is the B-21 aircraft right here.
Oh shit! Yeah,
Does
that
that
looks
not
crazy.
look like the B-21 Raider? Does that not look like a freaking UFO, bro?
Yeah. But you see, the reason it looks like a UFO is because they got the real UFO and they made that based off the real alien UFO. You see what I'm saying?
That's what they would say.
That's exactly what they would say here. So, can I get a?
Oh,
Can I get a? Oh yeah, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways,
Yep, that's
while
what's going on. I think that's we just got the confirmation, and that's what I have been waiting on for a long time, is for somebody with some common sense and some critical thinking. I mean, I've been on your show talking about this. I've been on Tinfoil Hat talking about this. I've been on countless shows talking about this exact thing that New York Post article just brought to light. I've been saying it for years. I have an entire playlist on my channel called the Legends of UFOlogy that examines all this stuff going back to Kenneth Arnold in 1947.
no, you're just a shell, dude, for the government. That's why you say that.
That's what I was called.
I don't believe
What
you.
everybody said. Like you're a part of the problem. You're the one that's you're covering up the real stuff.
The reverse Uno card, bro. And then you just keep piling it on, right? Like how we've been talking about all this stuff, keep piling it on with fake AI videos and stuff, and you don't even know where to look. Right? That's the whole point. To drive you to a point of confusion that you don't know what to believe. Because at this point, dude, I don't know what to believe, right? Because there's so many things flying around until I witness something firsthand, or something that I can prove myself. Not till that happens will I actually believe, right? I'm on board with you, dude. I believe it's government shit, but the accounts and the stories go back a long time. You know what I'm saying, right? Or like these concepts and these stories of UFOs and things landing, and what do you have to say about that? Like, what was all that before, the 1900s and before then? Like all these stories that have been written. What do you say about that? Is it just people's imagination or what?
What do you mean? What are you referencing? Like seeing craft or like abductions? Because those are two different types of things. I mean, the first abduction, like the first very popular abduction case was Betty and Barney Hill. That's the thing that kicked off the entire UFO abduction stuff. And then all of a sudden, everybody was getting abducted.
Here, let me pull up my screen real quick. This is one of my favorite ones. So the Utsura Boon, right from 1803. And this looks a lot like this thing that washed up on shore with some lady in it, right? This is 1803. Again, this is a story from 1803. That looks eerily similar to a modern day UFO. And this is before any of the CIA bullshit was around. And I'm sure there's a lot of other ones, right, that I can't think of right now. But Again, according to legend, a young woman aged between 18 and 20 arrived aboard the hollow boat on February 22nd, 1803. Fishermen brought her inland, but she was unable to communicate in Japanese. The fishermen returned her and her vessel to the sea, and it drifted away. Is it just a story?
See, this could be a boat though. Like if you've never seen a boat before, and then there was somebody that was way like more, just slightly more advanced than you that lives
Yeah.
somewhere else on the planet, and then you just rowing out on your boat, and then you see this other land. Right? This is just a lady from another part of the world that these people didn't know even existed. And then they roll in, and then they're like, "Oh my god, it's some kind of extraterrestrial craft." See, that's the thing, is because there's no communication between any of the parts of the world where civilization is developing. Okay, there could be people. I mean, we have people in the Amazon right now that have no idea about us, dude. They're a part of
Yeah.
their own freaking tribe, dude. They don't know anything about civilization. They're essentially living like cavemen. If they would, if a drone would show up to them, well, first they would probably try and like throw rocks and arrows and shoot arrow whatever and try and knock it out of the sky. But if it was a large enough craft, they would be like, "Oh my god, that's a freaking that's got to be from visitors from like off the planet." That's what I believe, that a lot of it's been misrepresented instances of other slightly more advanced civilizations that was currently on the planet that discovered other territories of land that they were not aware of from the beginning. And it's exactly like the cargo cults, right? During the Vietnam War, okay, the U.S. soldiers would be bringing supplies and food. They would be landing their helicopters and their planes on the strip, and then they would be giving them all like, goods and like services, and if they needed any help. And then they created an entire religion around this army soldier from America called the Cult of John Frum. And they worshipped this man named John Frum, which was just a military soldier from America. And then they tried to duplicate all the technology that they seen too. They tried to like make, the helicopters and the planes and the stuff that they seen, because they'd never seen it before. They would try and duplicate it and replicate it like out of straw and like hay and grass and wood. Okay, so it's all it takes is someone slightly more advanced that lives on on the planet, okay, and then visits a slightly less sophisticated society, and they're going to think that everything is magic.
See, like
And
this.
that's happened within this century, bro. I was during the Vietnam War. So if it's happened in people's lifetime that are living right now, this had to have been happening for freaking since the beginning of civilization.
No, I'm with you on that. And like, for example, like this Miracle of the Sun one is really interesting. And then see, this is one that I'd be skeptical about, right? Nicholas Warwick, like Russian theosophist, right? We know what they're about, right? And he saw a flying saucer by him and his followers, right? Right. So it's like this is 1926. These are some of the sightings. They go back, 1450 BC. We have some weird things, and then it kind of jumps 8th century, 16th, 17th century. This is interesting too. This one here from the 1561. People, I've heard people recently talking about this one too, where there was this whole sky battle or something going on, right? And then 19th century, it jumps up, and then 20th century we have it from there, which this could have easily been, right, the government doing something at the time, maybe, perhaps, I don't know.
Okay, so if we were to take let's say we time travel back, I don't even know, like it could be even like 1,000 years. Okay, let's say we went back to ancient Egypt.
Mhm.
Okay. We time travel back to that time. We somehow also brought a helicopter with us. Let's say we time traveled in the helicopter back to ancient Egypt. And we flew that helicopter around the skies of ancient Egypt.
Yes.
A technology that everybody is familiar with now. I mean, we see helicopters in the sky all the time. It's nothing magical. It's been going on for 100 years now, almost close to it. Okay, they would think that that is a god.
Mhm.
They would think that you were a god in the sky. And then that's what a lot of these old reports talk about, is hearing something very loud. Like the craft that they see is very loud. It's making a really loud noise. Pretty sure that that's what Ezekiel also talked about. I'm pretty sure that in
Yep.
the book of Ezekiel in the Bible is that the thing that came out of the sky was really loud.
Had fire and all this shit. Yeah.
There you go, bro. Literally, all it takes is somebody that is more advanced, that is living separately from other people on the planet, that has discovered something that these other people haven't discovered, and then go and show up, and then all of a sudden, these are gods. These are gods flying around in the sky. And Ezekiel's like, it's a chariot. Well, I mean, wheels within wheels. Well, that's what a helicopter would look like, right? The back spinning rotator of
So you
a.
think somebody time traveled and showed these people this?
No, I don't. I think that it's possible that there was somebody on Earth that had that technology.
Tartarians?
Could be the Atlanteans, bro, or the Lemurians.
I don't know, man.
When you
I
look
don't
at
know.
breakaway civilizations, bro, and how fast maybe that they developed it, and then they got to the point that we are the things that we have in our public over time, and then we eventually, the public got that technology, and then how far more advanced are they, right? Like they would be flying around in anti-gravity craft, right?
You believe in Atlantis?
uh I think it's interesting.
Because one of my theories about, like, a lot of these civilizations that quote unquote disappeared, right? We have some of those. Mohenjo-daro, Mayans is one of the big ones, right? They just disappeared, right? They took themselves out. I think, and I've said this before, because even you can kind of clump the ancient Egyptians into that, where they were, according to mainstream history, they were taken out by, right, the Hyksos. So when you look up who the Hyksos were, it's like a nomadic group, right, that just wandered around, right? They were just going around and they just took them over. And one of the greatest civilizations of all time was just taken out by some nomadic group. And I think, and I've said this before, where I think maybe they got so technologically advanced that they just quite literally just got up and disappeared as a people, right? What does that mean? I don't know. Right now we have the whole debacle of what's under the pyramids. You had Hawass on Rogan saying, like, I discovered everything. There's nothing under there. It's like, is there truly nothing under there? Or do the pyramids, which we don't know what purpose they served even till this day, they weren't tombs. We can agree on that because, again, they weren't. What were they truly for? And was it some sort of technology? Was it a crazy power plant or something? And I've said this before, where maybe these civilizations were able to quite literally just piece out of this dimension, right? And that's why it looks like they just got up and disappeared. How you're saying maybe they got that technologically advanced where they just got up and left. Where are they now? I don't know.
Could be also with the Mayans as well. They just disappeared.
Mm-hmm. A bunch of them, dude. There's been Mohenjo-daro. There's a few I can't think of it, but there's quite a few of them that it just looks like people just left. It's like, what the hell, And that could have possibly happened. They could have just got taken over and left. But again, we're not going to know the truth because we got to find out time travel, dude. Go back there.
Dematerialize, rematerialize, open up the Stargate portal. Let's go to a different planet. Let's shift timeline. Let's go into that alternate timeline one.
Would you take the superpower of being able to time travel, but the con of time traveling was that you shit your pants uncontrolled? Would you time travel or not? Would you take the risk?
Would I just be shitting my pants all the time, or was there like
That would be like a side effect of time travel that you wouldn't be able to control yourself and you could randomly just shit your pants anywhere you want. I mean, that's me now, and I don't time travel, but would you do it? Like if that was one of the like, hey guys, we have this crazy breakthrough of space and time. We've discovered time travel. Who's gonna sign up? But there's like a small print. After you time travel, you're gonna shit yourself. All right. It's like, well, what am I gonna? You don't know. You're just gonna lose control of your. Yeah. Like, what are you gonna do? Would you sign up, bro? Would you time travel? I would. Shit.
Yeah, I would do it too.
I already shit my pants for free. I mean, if I could time travel and shit my that'd be it. Like I'd just go. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I would do it too. Not a problem. I just wouldn't eat in that other reality. I'd make sure and clear myself out before I decided to time travel. I would stick that coffee enema up my butt so that I can control when I poop.
Get that interdimensional butt plug, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing coming out of there, bro.
Anyways, again, another conspiracy confirmed, I guess, right? That the government is behind a lot of this misinformation and disinformation. What do you think is next, Ryder?
Whew, I don't know, dude. I think this is the nail in the coffin, but it's not going to be the nail in the coffin. All this stuff's going to continue to go on. The people that have been propping up the UFO and the extraterrestrial hypothesis are still going to continue to prop up and propagate the UFO and extraterrestrial hypothesis. Is not going to change anything, but it's validation and vindication for me. I was really happy when I seen this article. I was giddy. I smiled for a good couple of minutes when I read it.
And the world started falling apart, right? Or so it seems.
Like, I knew it. I've said all of this stuff before, bro. But it's not going to change anything. It's going to be the same old, same old.
Well,
nothing
see what
different.
happens next.
But we can keep talking about it though, and whenever people bring this stuff up, we can be like, "Oh, did you know that the Air Force was giving out fake UFO photos and fake UFO documents and didn't tell the Air Force soldiers that it was fake?" Did you know that? Did you know that they were planning Area 51 evidence that was fake evidence all around Area 51?
But what if that's the lie, dude? What if that's what they want you to believe?
They would never do that.
No? I mean, they made you believe aliens were real, or, some people. You don't think that they would do it the other way around, like backpedal? Actually, aliens are real.
Well, I mean, they already they tried to do that. They already tried to do it. And I don't think that it worked. I mean, Congress didn't buy it. They were like, okay.
You talking about like with all the whistleblowers and everything?
Yeah.
Because they want to prop it up as long as possible.
I don't understand the point of doing that, because that would then be, if they are real and you say that they aren't real, it's either one way or the other. Like you can't, it would be too much to say that they aren't real for a really long time and then say that they are real and then go back to saying that they aren't real, unless you're just trying to create as much confusion as possible, which we do know that that is a big tool that the government and these three little organizations use, is like just confusion. Like they don't want anybody to know really anything. So they'll put out they'll tell you one thing, show you something completely different, or show you something that's real and then tell you something that's completely different. Right? So no one can be on the same page. No one can organize. No one can get behind anything that's real. You can't create a grassroots movement without it being taken over, without it being infiltrated by something. So it's just this game, this constant confusion game all the time with everything. And you can apply the same kind of technique that's happened with UFOs and extraterrestrials that's been propagated by the government directly to any scenario that you can think of. And it's the same thing. It's the same tactics.
Yeah, my dad's always told me either you're gay or you're not gay. So what's next? That homunculus aren't real, that Bigfoot isn't real, that was a CIA propaganda, bro? Is that what's coming next? Is that what's coming next? That that Bigfoot isn't real?
Bigfoot is real, bro. 100%.
I think so too, bro. 100%.
All right, Juan, you
Existed.
ready to, you got anything else? We have any other news?
No, we don't. And that's pretty much it. This was fun.
Cool. Well, thanks for coming on. Really appreciate it. Can you let people know where to find you online?
www.tjojp.com. Find me on there. All my links are on there.
Sweet. And if you're listening on Juan's channel, you can find me on Raised by Giants on YouTube and any and all podcast platforms. Thank you guys for being here. Really appreciate you. Please be sure to hit the thumbs up to help the channels in the algorithm. Share, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.